Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable right here at Facebook at the Star Nations organization's main fan page. Today is Thursday, November. What the heck? Not November, June. I wonder what's going to be happening in November. June 20th. June 20th, and it's a beautiful day here again. Sunny, blue skies, well, kind of cloudy a little bit, but not bad. 73 degrees. Yay. You know what? Can't complain about that. How many days in a row, right? How many days in a row? So, welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Today, sometimes I forget that there's some people who it's evening. If you're over in England, right? It's evening. So, welcome. It's a little quiet here today. Why? Because Georgie, our now 11-month-old puppy, is at puppy daycare this afternoon. Yeah, he started back to daycare. Actually, a new one. He had injured his left rear leg, actually pulled the ligament in his left rear knee. And so he had to take it easy for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. And at first, it was really, it was a real challenge to try to keep a puppy on the quiet side, right? But he healed up pretty well. He's doing pretty good. And so he was able to start back to puppy daycare. He actually started on Saturday, this past Saturday. And today he's there for another half day. So yay. Honestly, I think he was doing cabin fever kind of stuff because he was sleeping a lot more, and tried to get him to go outside just to even play fetch or something. Wasn't having it. So we decided today was going to be a good day to get him in and to play with other four-leggeds, right? Yeah, so I'm sure he's having a great time. But it's quiet here. It's quiet here. So before we get too far down the road with the card information, I'm going to like and share our live stream. And got to find it first. There we are. And so I'm just going to send it over to my news feed and liking and sharing. Yeah, it doesn't take long. Let's see, we're going to change that to my news feed. There we go. And just so that my friends have a gentle reminder, right, that I am live streaming. And of course, to please join us. Oops, I misspelled something. There we go. There. Get that posted. Looking good. I got to turn down my sound so we don't get all squelchy here. Yeah. Oh, I've got something to show you guys. And let me get my pictures up, okay? Hang on. I just literally added them to our photo album that I use here for this live stream, and showing you guys different items and that kind of thing. And I just have to kind of scroll through. I should have had it set up a little bit better, but oh well. Here we go. Now, what these pictures are of is the Star Nations Academy, where I'd say about 98% of the live stream shows for Star Nations, and whether it's my own live stream shows or if I'm producing for someone. And so I did a little bit of an upgrade. I want to show you what my old studio looked like and what I used to prop my laptop up so that it would have a little bit more elevation. Okay, so here we go. It's a little bit of a bright shot, and it's because I think it was yesterday, sunlight coming in from the window was pretty bright. But you can tell that it's a little bit of a hodgepodge, right? The blue thing underneath at the bottom is actually a meditation bench. And on top of that is a wooden tray turned upside down, right? And so they gave me just enough height so that the camera was a little bit higher. Yeah, and the thing that's in the back is actually for the sound, so it doesn't sound so echoey. Because I don't have many things on the walls up here, and so the sound kind of echoes in the room. Yeah, and all of the wires and all of that, right? All right. So, and here is a picture of the upgrade. I found I don't know what to call it. It's a stand, a laptop stand that elevates it and actually puts there's some openings underneath in order for air to come through, and so the laptop is a little bit cooler. And I don't think you can tell, but on the right hand side, next to the microphone, is a place for my phone to rest in the upright position. Yay! So much easier to read. Right, and then this next picture is the actual my laptop on with Be Live Studio up, and so you guys can kind of see what the studio looks like. You know, the lighting in front of me, that's actually a photographer's lamp. So it's stationed. It's a steady light. It's a steady light. Yeah. So my studio gets tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked a little bit more, and so yeah, the next thing will be not soon, but out there in the short term goal is to upgrade my microphone actually, and so that'll be the next tweak, but that won't happen for a while. That won't happen. I thought you guys would have a little interest, just a little, in what the studio looks like. And for those who have taken classes here, you kind of, when you first walk in, it's like you wonder, okay, so where's the screen? Because I usually take that down for classes, and I take this all apart. The table, the lamp, and everything, so it's turned back into a classroom. Yeah. So that's my studio. I thought maybe you guys would like to have a little sneak peek at that. Yeah. What made me decide to get a different stand for my laptop is because my laptop actually kind of slides around on that turned over tray, and this actually has like little rubber stops on it, so it doesn't slide, which is good. Makes typing a lot more easier, and that's always a good thing, right? All right, so if you shared the live stream, thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate it. That just helps others to find us a little bit easier. I'm scrolling through the post. I see that Stephanie has been in the house and has placed some really good information. It's a lot, I know, a lot of information, but we have a lot going on here at Star Nations, and we want to make sure that you guys have all the information as much as possible anyway. Yeah. Hey, look who's here. Julie Shumway Hill's here. Hello, Julie. Good to have you here. And Rob is here too. He says they have gray skies down by him, or over by him, I should say. Yeah, I mean it's partly cloudy, but it's not bad at all here. And he also says, George, the rambunctious one. Yes. And when you're 72 pounds and you decide that you want to go and do something, yeah, he's still in the training stage. And so if I have his attention, I can get him to sit and to sit next to me, right? And depending on what lead I have on him too. If it's the shorter English lead, he tends to listen better. If it's the longer lead that's on him, It's like, oh, we got lots of room to pull now, right? Yeah, but he is rambunctious. He really is. He's that 11-month-old. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you here. She said, shared, having a hard time with pain today. Aw, been doing pretty good altogether. Well, that's good. That's good, and um, I do know that the physical therapy can be painful, right? When you're working on that range of motion and trying to get your muscles to fire and all of that. So, we're still pulling for you. We're still cheering you on, Rochelle, and sending you some good loving energy, and to deal with that pain too, right? Yeah, it's not. We know it's not easy, but thank goodness that you're sticking with it, because I think you're going to be so much happier. When you're back to 100% and you're able to go on hikes again and taking those walks and not having to be in pain and those kinds of things, right? It's good. Well, thank you. Yeah, the studio, it's very portable because I need to be able to break it down when we have classes here. So yeah, it's so much, and it's safer because my laptop isn't sliding around. Yep. Hey, Marie's here too. Hello, Marie. Good to have you here. Andrea's here too. Hello, Andrea. It's always good to see you in the chat. And Rochelle says, over by her in Michigan, the sun is finally out. Good one. Get it and soak it up, right? Soak up those sun rays. Yeah. Grandfather Sky. All right. So I am going to share about the card draws that came today. And for those who are just joining us or watching the recorded version of this, well, first of all, thank you so much for being with us and watching the recording, taking the time to do that. This is the deck of cards that we're using, at least for this month. Spirit of the Wheel. It's a meditation deck using the Native American medicine wheel as its template. And the author is Linda Iwashina, and the illustrator is Jody Bergsman. And both ladies are from British Columbia, Canada. And so we're getting a perspective about the medicine wheel from that part of the world, right? And so we get to learn something a little bit new, a different, maybe another way of looking at the wheel, or sensing the energy coming from the wheel. So it's a good thing, right? I've shared in the past that the medicine wheel, there's only one wheel, but there are many, 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 many thousands of different ways of interpreting and explaining the wheel, right? Even if it's in your own tribal nation, sometimes the perspective is somewhat different from clan to clan. And so there's room for individuality, I suppose, right? Yeah. Rob says he'll see the sun in a few hours, and maybe as it makes its way across Michigan, right? Because you and Rochelle, I think you guys are. I know Rochelle is more on the west side, right? Northwest side, and I think Rob, you're on the east southeast side, or is it the northeast side? I forget. I get my geography. Get the maps out. Get the maps out. Yeah, and Pat is saying, hi, Pat. Hello, good to have you here. And thank you for your idea for a class. Yeah, healing family trauma, right? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And the online classes for Star Nations are still on deck. I haven't had a chance to work with that much lately, but we are in the works. We are planning. We're planning to get those rolled out in the fall. So I got to get moving on that so we can start promotions, right? All right, so here's our first card. The first card that came today is this one. Corn planting moon. corn planting moon. And this moon, it goes from May 21st to June 20th. So we're right at the very end of this energy today, because today is June 20th. Corn planting moon. It's the 21st stone in creating the medicine wheel. 21st. And so it carries the energy of 3. It carries the energy of 3, the ascended masters, right? And the words that go along with corn planting moon is balancing energy, honesty, and emotions. Pull it back just a little bit so you guys can see the whole thing. Yeah, and we're gonna take a look at that elk. Taking a look at the elk. I didn't even count the tines because there's quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6x6. As they talk about antlers in elk hunting world, it's a 6x6. In other words, there's 12 points. 12. Which is also a 3, right? More ascended masters. Elk. And for those that have made drums with me, you know that one of the hides that we use is the elk hide. And the elk energy or medicine is really about, when it comes to drums anyway, is really about your stamina, right? And to be able to learn how to pace yourself, pace your energy so that you can go longer distances energetically, right? Without getting tired. And the elk, they have very long legs. And when they run, they can run for quite a ways. Because they know how to pace themselves, right? And it's also and many times it's also about balancing the male and female energies for the elk. But the energy that this card is carrying is all about balancing energy, honesty, and emotion. Okay, so the author says about this card is corn planting moon signals a time of great energy and enthusiasm. Great energy and enthusiasm. The fears that held you back in the past dissolve in the light of this auspicious moon. You can achieve great things by channeling this surge of creative energy and balancing it with clear direction. Okay. So yesterday we were talking all about integration, weren't we? And also about facing those fears, right? Yeah. And so this card is all about it's all about those fears that dissolve. That we all have some fears about something, and especially if you're working on this change that you've completed and you're in the integration. At the very beginning of that integration, we were talking about yesterday that sometimes we start to doubt ourselves, right? In those early stages of the integration. It's kind of like when you go in for a chiropractic adjustment, when you first start seeing a chiropractor. And usually we go in when we need an adjustment because we're in pain, right? And do you ever notice that the chiropractor likes you to come in quite a bit at the very beginning, like 2 or 3 times a week, if not more, right? And then the further along the road that you go in adjusting to correct that pain or to alleviate that pain, is that you don't have to go in quite as often, right? But in the beginning, we have to go in quite often because what happens is the chiropractor does the adjustment, and our muscles and our bones and all of that are holding the healthier way, correct? The healthier placement of the bones and the muscles and all in your body. But our muscles, our body tends to slip back into the old, the part that was giving us pain. It's like a muscle memory, right? Is that maybe we've been carrying our bodies a certain way for quite a long time. And so when we do the adjustment and we're put into alignment, our body doesn't quite hold that corrected or adjusted alignment for very long. But it's over time, that when we go in for the adjustments, that our body then begins to hold that new alignment for longer periods of time. And eventually, you only have to do maintenance kind of stuff. Very few times to go in to correct that alignment. So when you're integrating a change, it's much the same way. In the early stages, your bodies, plural, they remember the old alignment. They remember the old energy. And so sometimes you kind of slip back into, or you want to slip back into that old energy. Today's card is all about balancing that energy, is learning about your new balance, right? Learning about it, reminding yourself that you have a new way of being. And that when we are in alignment, when we're holding that higher vibration, we've shifted, right? And so our creativity sometimes is in much more abundance. You get all these really good ideas, right? And you really want to start moving forward with them. Or perhaps you're wondering how is it that in this new way of being, my new vibration, how is what I've been doing going to shift and look? So if you already have a service that you provide, that you could be providing that service differently. And so you're kind of making your way through the integration, sitting with it. And as you adjust to your new vibration, then you begin to adjust the world around you, right? And so you might be doing things a little bit differently in your service. You might be charging a different fee. You might be realizing that you need a new space to work out of, or perhaps you decide to do a promotion. You've never done promotions before, and now you want to let people know that you're out there. And so you're doing things a little bit differently. Yeah. And sometimes that causes angst and a little anxiety, because you're it's something that's brand new, right? And so you have a little anxiousness around, how is this going to work? How is this going to work? And with the author, she continues to say that those born under this sign tend to express their powerful emotions. And what she's suggesting is that these powerful emotions, when they come up and out, is just to take a moment to kind of check your mental mind, right? And what's going to come out of your mouth. Yeah, just to take a moment, just to maybe find a kinder way to say something, or maybe it's none of your business, and maybe you just need to kind of say, they didn't ask me for my two cents, so maybe I'll just sit back and watch, be the witness, right? And so those that carry the energy of this moon, in other words, you were born during this time frame from May 21st to June 20th, sometimes your emotions can be overwhelming to others, right? And actually, this is a Gemini moon, isn't it? Those born between May 21st and June 20th. And so the Gemini is an air sign, and there's a lot going on in the mental mind. I think I understand Geminis pretty well. I'm surrounded by them. There's so many people in my life that are Geminis. And I have to say that some, not all of them, some of them do speak their minds before they take a moment to measure it out a bit, right? Is they might be able to find a kinder way to say something. I'm not saying they shouldn't say it. It's just that they may have to find a different way of conveying what they're thinking. And there's one other thing that Geminis tend to do is that they're already in the conversation in their mind. They're already in the conversation in their mind. And so many of them, what they'll do is they'll start talking to you in the middle of a thought or in the middle of that conversation they've already been in. And so it leaves you kind of thinking, what are you talking about? I'm usually pretty good at jumping around in subjects with a Gemini. There's times though that they leave me kind of wondering, wait, you're confusing me. What are we talking about? I have to do that with my mom quite often, because she'll start in the middle of something that's she's already thinking about. And Paul does the same thing. Paul's mom does the same thing. I have a lot of Geminis around me. And so they keep my mind nimble because I have to be able to jump subjects with them as it's going through their mind. But this particular author is saying that those that are born in this moon, in the corn planting moon, is to just kind of measure out your thought. Give it a moment before you actually say it. Because otherwise you're kind of backtracking and apologizing sometimes. All right. The other thing about this is that this moon teaches us that being honest with ourselves and others in a gentle way fosters positive growth for everyone involved. So allowing ourselves the freedom to explore many different paths under this moon. And discovering for ourselves a perfect way of doing something maybe a bit differently. Taking that path that maybe not many other people are taking, right? Yeah. So this is all about balancing energies, honesty, and emotions. Honesty and emotions. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get caught up to you guys in the chat. And Pat, we said hi to Pat, and she's a Gemini too. Holy smokes. All right, well, add Pat to the list of the Geminis that I know. Oh my goodness. Rochelle says, I am Cancer, but I have a lot of those characteristics. Deb has a hard time following me at times. Yeah. And what I noticed is that, like I said, I've been around Geminis for my entire life. And sometimes that conversation, they've already had those thoughts going around in their mind. And so then when you start to share it, it's like you're starting mid-sentence and using words like he and she and they, and then you jump subject, and when you're using those pronouns rather than actual names, sometimes it's a little difficult to follow. But I think that those of us that are friends and close to Geminis that do that, you guys keep us nimble. You do. You do. You keep us, engaged because we're trying to figure out what the heck you're talking about. Oh my gosh. And so Maria is saying, wow, needed to hear this card today. My dream last had 3 knocks on my heart and brought about a fear in me that can't seem to shake. Okay. Well, when it comes to is the fears, and this is what this card is telling us about the fear. It says that the fears that held you back in the past dissolve in the light of this auspicious moon. You can achieve great things by channeling this surge of creative energy and balancing it with clear direction. Right? And because we're dealing with the number 3 on this card in numerology, it's about the ascended masters, right? And so if you're dealing with a fearful situation, perhaps asking your spiritual team and those ascended masters that work with you to help you to understand the root of this fear and what is the best way to heal whatever needs to be healed around it or released, right? Sometimes the fear is really more about our mental thoughts and what we have created there, right? Than what is actually going on. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't base to the fear. It's just that sometimes our mental mind builds on it and creates it much bigger or more drama laden than it really is, right? What's that old saying? Building a mountain out of a molehill. That's what comes to mind. Yeah. So, Marie, you're saying that you had a dream last night and had 3 knocks on your heart. Okay. 3 knocks. Brought about a fear. So who was doing the knocking? Do you know? Who is doing the knocking on your heart? Because you know that if you can get to the root of that, whatever that fear is that came through to your dream, then you have a better way to understand what's your next best step, right? Because sometimes when we can actually name the fear or the concern, it kind of dissipates the power that it has built around it, because we can name it. We can call it something, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I got to do something with my phone when it's on this metal thing, because when that sound is rattling, let me see if I can put something underneath it. Let's see if that helps. All right. So Marie's saying no clue. After the 3 knocks, woke up in a panic. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is what I would do. All right. Because I come from a family and a culture that we hold a lot of stock in our dreams, especially those dreams that happen in the wee hours of the morning, like from between 3 o'clock and 6 a.m., right? And those dreams that they call lucid dreams. They feel like you're actually there, right? It's not one of those dreams that that you can't make heads or tails out of because it doesn't make any sense, you know? And not one of those dreams, but the ones that are more prophetic, right? So here's what I would do, because I've done that. Is that I would go into meditation, I would get quiet, and I would ask my spiritual team about that dream, because we're never ever alone. There's members of our spiritual team who are with us even in dream time. Okay, so helping you to understand that, or even you could even connect with your higher self, your soul self, and ask, what was that about? Why was I shown that? Why did I have to experience that? What is this that what I'm supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to learn from it? Right? Yeah, because we're not meant to be kept in the dark and information hidden from us. Right? We just have to ask the right questions to the right beings. And if you call in your entire team and say, okay, I have this question about that dream last night, I want those who are on my spiritual team to please step forward to help me to understand this with clarity. And if I'm supposed to learn something from this, is to please be clear about it so I can make the best next step. Something like that, right? Because they're here to help us. Because there's no reason to have to live in the fear or the panic. Yeah. There's no need to do that. Yeah. It's facing the fear. It's facing it. Yeah. And Marie, there was a lot of healing and shifting energy going on this past weekend. And it's gonna take a bit of time for everything to integrate. And in that sometimes we have to let go of things that are no longer matching our vibration. Yeah. And so, depending on what that dream was about, it's possible that you're working through something like that. Is the releasing of something from the old vibration. And whenever you do that, you're making room for the new items that come along with this new vibration. Right? Yeah. Which kind of reminds me of something. It reminds me is that there was a question that Tina asked. This is, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. During one of the shows, she had asked about, and she was asking this for her daughter, about can love and hate reside in the same person or the same situation, right? And I have to say that those two vibrations, love and hate, are on the opposite sides of the spectrum. Literally, they are the duality, right? And so when you have a low vibration like hate, it cannot reside in the same energy field as love. One of the energies has to depart, right? Because they don't meet in vibration. So here's the other thing that you can do, Marie, is that you can raise your vibration consciously to the vibration of love, right? You can do the unity breath meditation. It's been recorded, I don't know how many times. Just get a hold of one of the YouTube recordings and do the unity breath meditation, bringing your vibration to love. And that fear and that panic will dissipate because it can't reside in your higher vibration. Okay? Can't. And then maybe the understanding of it, or when you ask for assistance with it, you'll be in I want to say a better position to really take in the information, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this card also talks about honesty, and that honesty, is really being honest with ourselves, right? Being honest with ourselves. Because when we're honest with ourselves and we're gentle in that honesty with ourselves, we tend to be honest with others. And that honesty can be fertile ground. Can be fertile ground for creativity and positive growth, soul growth, right? Yeah, it's good stuff. All right. So the second card that came was trust. Trust. This is the golden eagle. We've had this card before. The golden eagle. Trust. It's a spirit path of the south, and it's the 36th stone position in the creation of the medicine wheel. And so that numerology is a 9, and that's all about completion. It's about personal space, openness, and faith. So this card is really in a position to support the energy of the first card. Space being breached. When we're young, very young, when we're young children, young adults, our boundaries, right? Sometimes we don't have very strong boundaries. And so when someone or something breaches your personal boundary, comes into your personal space, that can be kind of shocking, right? It can be, it can cause trauma. It can cause trauma. And so when that occurs, what happens is we try to protect ourselves, right? And in that protection, we put in place mechanisms, coping mechanisms. And many times what we do is we tend to build, those walls or the armor, right, around our hearts. Yeah. And we tend to create our boundaries out of fear rather than love. And, and when we do that, we take a lot of our personal energy to keep those boundaries in place when they're created out of fear. Right? Yeah. And so this card is all about trust. It's about reestablishing trust. And when we have trust, there's room for love. When we have trust. It says, receiving and giving love is a part of our very essence and is needed for our survival and our growth. To live without love or trust leads to a cold and lonely existence. Now is the time to surrender and release your doubts and anxieties to a higher purpose. If we can have faith and trust in the Creator's greater plan, then we can begin the process of healing our wounds and gently, over time, expose our true self to others. Right? And we have that room to be honest, because that honesty begins with us inside. It says, take the first step by learning to love and accept yourself for who you really are. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Andrea. Beautiful artwork, isn't it? Yeah, I'm enjoying the illustrations on these cards for sure. Hey, Bobby. She says, hi, y'all. Thank you, Julie, for posting the live feed, as it still isn't in my FB Live today. So Okay, so here is the first card, Bobby. Oops, let me take that down so you can see the card. This was the first card, Corn Planting Moon. It's all about balancing energies, honesty, and emotions. And it's certainly carrying the energy of 3. It's the 21st stone in the creation of the medicine wheel, which is a 3. And there is the number of horns on the elk is a 12. And so that too is a 3 in numerology as well. And so a lot of ascended masters energy carried with this one too. And we're talking about the fears. It says corn planting moon signals a time of great energy and enthusiasm. The fears that held you back in the past dissolve in the light of this auspicious moon. And that we have a surge of creative energy under this moon. It encourages us to be honest with ourselves and others. In a gentle way, fosters positive growth for everyone involved. Yeah. And here's the prayer. Here's the prayer that goes with this card. It says, Great Spirit, help me to channel my energies in a healthy, positive, and balanced manner, remembering to be gentle with myself and others along the way. And we were talking about how many of us are integrating, right? The change that has occurred in our lives. And it does take some time. It does take some time. And this particular card is asking us to further release some of those old fears in the brightness of this moon, this full moon energy, which is the corn planting moon, right? That's what they're talking about. And so I was saying that the change that occurred, that shifting of energy, that sometimes in the very beginning of the integration, it's kind of like a muscle memory. Sometimes we want to have our old life back or our old selves back, and rather than being okay with the new vibration, with the new. And sometimes it's kind of like a muscle memory. It kind of slides back into place, even though you are different. You've gone through this change, and many times it's because of the mental mind more than anything else, right? Yeah. Rochelle says, Neshi, you're so articulate and wisdom comes from your heart. Well, thank you, Rochelle. And actually, it's coming from my spiritual team. That's who it's coming from. I get to be the conduit for that. And I agree, Brenda. I think it's a wonderful card. I do. It gives us really something to consider, right? Is to consider, how are your energies balanced? Are you honest with yourself? Are you gently honest with yourself? Right? I lost my page. One more. Yeah. And how do you share your emotions with others? Right? Because sometimes our big emotions, whether it doesn't matter if it's anger or sadness or joy or any emotion, when you let it out in a really, really big way, sometimes it's overwhelming for other people. That's okay. Don't change you for someone else, right? But what we're saying is to be aware of that. And it's okay. It's okay to be able to be really, really joyful no matter who's there, right? And if you're sad, or angry, then ask for help for it to be expressed in the best and healthiest way possible, right? Because that's about being honest too, isn't it? I think so. I do. Andrea said, I don't think I give myself enough of my energy. Oh, so you're spending your energy on someone else or multiple people, maybe. Um, yeah, and taking that time, right? Taking that time for yourself. We were talking about that yesterday, weren't we? Is that, um, even because you're going to have a cup of tea, coffee, or water anyway, right? Is just to take a moment by yourself in one of your favorite places to sit, in a quiet place, just for a moment, you know, drink your coffee, drink your tea or your water, in because that's about self-care as well, right? Yeah. Um, and just taking a few moments of your time during the day to spend on you. And I know it's not an easy thing to do. And to carve out that extra time if you want to take an Epsom salt bath, right? Or to go and have a massage done or something like that. Um, yeah, sometimes it's easier said than done. But what I'm saying is that sometimes we need to make sure we carve out some time for ourselves, right? Just some for ourselves. Um, yeah, because you all know that I have mom here with us, and Paul's here, and now we have Georgie, and I had very little time to begin with, and then you add a puppy to that mix, and what do you got, right? And so finding those pockets of moments for myself, because I'm literally never by myself. I might be in the car for a stretch, but not even that. So is to take a wee bit of time for ourselves, right? Have your tea, have your coffee. While you're doing dishes, play some music that you like, that you like. Mm, yeah. And that's all about being honest with ourselves too, right? Yeah. Bobby is saying, I am a 3 as well. Oh, I knew the guide said I needed to do art when I chose to do something else today. Things physically broke. Oh my goodness. The lawnmower, the pressure washer, and I was given a bath by the pond pump. My card draw was the hermit, retreat and self-care. Now I'm listening. Oh, good for you. You know, that certainly is a great story to show us, right? That when we don't listen to our intuition, when we don't listen to that soft voice, I know what happens to me. I am wrong 100%. And then I have to go back and redo it anyway. So, listening to um, guidance, right? Because haven't we asked for help? Somewhere along the way, we asked our spiritual team to please help us with such and such. And then when they bring that opportunity to us, we dismiss it and go do something else, right? Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Bobby, because I tell you what, that's a perfect story. Perfect story for when we don't listen to our guidance. Andrea saying balance is right, and we need to balance the dispersal of energy. Yes. Yes. And the fact that that first card is also talking about how we can use the energy of that kind of moon to disperse old fear. Fear that may or may not even be serving a purpose at all anymore. It's just that we hold on to it because we're just used to it being there. Yeah. That's you and your new vibration. And it takes some time to sift through what no longer serves you, no longer matches your vibration. And so you can let it go. The easy parts are like clothes and books and personal belongings, that kind of thing. We can release those things. It gets a little bit harder when it's a friendship. Um, people that are in your life that no longer match your vibration. It doesn't have to be drama laden, though. It doesn't have to be done in a way that is hurtful, right? You can just say that you're busy doing this over here, and if they want to join you, great. And if they don't, that's okay too. You don't have to have hurt feelings over it. So, Andrea, what you say about dispersal of the energy, is letting go part, right? Yeah. It's always an interesting thing for me is whether it's myself or it's with someone that I know, is why we hold on to certain things, certain thought forms, certain ways of being. It's one of the things that attracted me to psychology eons ago. And that is why we two-leggeds do the things that we do. Why do we keep long-held fears in place? Even after we've done the healing around it, sometimes what we try to do because we miss it for whatever reason, we recreate it. Why? And so we tend to do that, right? And what purpose does it serve? What does it feed? What part of you does it feed? Many times it's feeding our ego, our out of balanced ego. Many times. But that I think that when we take the time to consider, why did I just do that? Now, not your inner critic, telling you that you've just done something bad or anything like that, but is to ask yourself that honest question in a gentle way so that you can truly understand yourself in a deeper way. Why did we just do that? What purpose does it hold? How does it energize me or feed me? And it's okay. It's okay. There's no reason to beat yourself up over it. It's just understanding yourself in an even deeper way. And that's how we get to mastery, isn't it? That's how we get to mastery. Rochelle is saying, yes, I have thought that for eons. Why? Still trying to figure it out. Yeah, and I think that it's all a part of our healing. It's all a part of our soul growth. I think that's why we have such esteem for philosophers, right? I think, therefore I am. Or that was, not even considering the heart, but we still do it, don't we? Yeah, that's okay. It's all right. I think it's better to bring these things up for ourselves so that we can shine that light on them and to understand ourselves even deeper, even better. Yeah. So we're at the top of the hour already. Man, this went by fast, really fast. So whatever was shared today, if it resonated with you, I say this almost every day. It's just my suggestion is to embrace whatever it was that resonated with you, whether it was a word, a phrase, the whole thing, whatever it was that resonated, is just to embrace it and watch, sense, feel See how today's energy is unfolding around you and where this information could possibly be helpful, right? Yeah, and if it didn't resonate, that's okay. That's all right. No worries. There's always this coming Sunday when we do the next card draw, right? For the live stream. Because today is our last day for the card draw for the week. Although, you know what, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time at Star Nation's Academy closed group here at Facebook is the free monthly mini class. And I've been asked to share about smudging tonight. And so, yeah, come and join us for that. You get to hear some basic information, and I'll answer as many questions as I can, and we'll spend some time together, right? Yeah, and if you're not a member of the closed group, that's okay. As long as you can make your invitation within the hour, either Julie or I can check the request and get you set up, okay? All right. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you back here for the Spiritual Roundtable on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, right? Okay. Bama Mina, that means in Potawatomi, until we meet again. Love you guys.